Good morning, millionaires, and welcome to my econ. Thank you, Mr. Carey, for giving me the opportunity to train on the My Credit System this morning. I've been with my econ now since 2017, and I absolutely love the company and what they provide for us in this financial success membership. I'm training on today the My Credit System. Like Mr. Carey said, I love credit. I have a passion for it. I've been doing credit repair since 2012 now. And I'm doing it for people. When I realized that I was doing it for my clients, it bothered me because what I was doing for them I felt like giving them a temporary Band-Aid. Because when you pay someone to do your credit for you, it is a proven fact you're going to need to get your credit repaired again in 2 years. Why? Because you paid someone to do something for you. You didn't learn how to rescue yourself. And I love and live by the model of rescuing yourself. You can teach a person to fish and they'll eat for a day. But when you teach them, when you can give a person a fish and they'll eat for a day, but when you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. And that's why I love the My Credit System and the My Doing It Yourself process. So this is the My Credit System. When I meet people or people reach out to me and ask me about our credit repair or just credit repair in general, again, I like to tell them about the My Credit System because it empowers you. First thing that I like to point out is that it's less than 25 minutes. The average person spends more time than that on Facebook. They're scrolling. So it does not take a lot of time to repair your credit. So that's the first thing that I like to point out to people, that is under 30 minutes. That's less than watching a TV show. Okay. I tell people that our software, the My Credit System, has everything you need. You do not have to YouTube or Google anything. Everything is in one place. We're going to teach you how to pull your credit report. I also point out to them that all of the videos are under 5 minutes. So again, it does not require for you to be in here all day, every day. You're going to go into the My Credit System. You're going to watch your video. Welcome to the My Credit System. And the first step you want to do is pull your credit report. We take you to one of the most reliable places, and it's free, annualcreditreport.com. Okay. This is where you're going to go to get your free credit report. It's free. You can go up here once a week now. Prior to COVID, you used to only go up here once a calendar year. But since COVID, they've noticed a lot of people identity being stolen. Identity theft has always been one of the fastest growing crimes. We're blessed that in my econ, we actually sell identity theft. So for me, I tell everyone as soon as they sign up, that's one of the first products you should have. You can also get your own commission. You get it from yourself, order it from your website, and it will actually pay for itself. Again, you can get your credit report for free once a week. You can go in here and pull your credit report. You're going to click on request your credit reports, and you're going to fill out this form. You're going to put in all the accurate information that pertains to you, okay? As far as your address, you want to make sure that you put your current address that you're living at that matches your ID, okay? They're going to ask you a series of security questions to access each credit bureau. And you want to make sure that you select to get your credit reports from all 3 credit bureaus. Why? Because they are privately owned entities. They're not ran by the government. All of your creditors are not reporting to every credit bureau. So what Equifax might report, you might not see it on TransUnion. TransUnion, you might have a creditor that do not report to Experian. So you want to get all 3 credit bureaus so that you can know across the board what is going on with your credit, okay? They are located in different states. So you want to, again, have access to everything that pertains to your credit. And you can go up here once a week. You want to download and save it. I advise people when they get their credit reports, you want to create you a file folder right here at the bottom of your computer and label it credit repair. That is where you're going to store your credit reports and anything pertaining to the process as you're doing it. When you go there, you can download and save. Tell people don't try to print these reports out because sometimes the reports can be up to 30 to 40 pages. sometimes 70 pages. So you want to download it and save it on your computer so that you can always go back to it when you're ready to start the process. The second step that you want to do is get your FICO score. It's okay if you have Credit Karma downloaded to your computer, that's fine. Or download it to your phone if you use Credit Karma, but Credit Karma does not give you your FICO score. 90% of your lenders, when you are applying for credit, a credit card, the car, or a home, or whatever it may be, 90% of your lenders are using the FICO score. Credit Karma gives you something called the Vantage score. That's not an accurate score, and sometimes it can be over 40 points more than what your actual FICO score is. So if you log into Credit Karma and you think you're at whatever score that you're hoping that you can get approved for something, and then you go to that dealership or you apply for that loan and you're denied, it's because your lender actually looked at your FICO score, and your score is probably not what the Vantage score on Credit Karma showed you. Also, Credit Karma is a marketing site. Their goal is to market high interest credit cards to people with low credit scores. So their whole goal is to market credit cards to you, okay? So Credit Karma, that is not a reliable place to get your credit score. It's okay if you have the app, because they will give you some of the items that is on your Equifax credit score, credit report, and your TransUnion credit report. Okay, so they're not showing you Experian credit report, and they're not showing you your whole credit report, but they are giving you a small portion of what's on the TransUnion and the Equifax. But again, that's not a reliable source. If you feel like that sometimes my FICO may be out of your budget, because again, it does cost, you have to put some skin in the game. You're repairing your credit, you're fighting for your good credit, so you have to put some skin in the game. The great part about being a business owner in MyEcon and being a part of the affiliate marketing side of it, anything that you spend to repair your credit as a business owner, you can write it off for your taxes. So again, you keep notes, keeping your My Credit system that you're paying as you spend any money for the credit repair process. Okay, but it does cost. If you don't want to get this, then you can also get your FICO score with if you have a credit card, your credit card company will give you your FICO score, also your bank or your credit union, okay? So that's another way to get your FICO score. So now that you have your credit report and your FICO score, the next step you're going to do is place something called freezing the secondary bureaus. Now, this is a major strategy in repairing your credit, okay? Remember, we're not freezing the main credit bureaus, we're freezing the secondary bureaus. And we're doing this because we're trying to put a block. So this is a strategy. We're trying to put a block against the main credit bureaus from viewing your credit data, okay? So this is the first step that you should do after you pull your credit report. You want to do this before you start any dispute process. This is major. There are 3 secondary bureaus that we want to put a freeze on. Everything is right here in your My Credit system. You're going to click on the first one, which is ARS. It's going to take you right to their site. You're going to click on Add a Security Freeze. Okay, we're consumers, we're not a third-party agency, so you're going to hit Consumer, you're going to agree to the terms, and hit Continue. You're going to fill out this form. Again, they're going to ask you to fill out this information, and they're going to ask you to upload some documents for proof of your identity and for your protection. These things that they're going to ask you to upload, I want you to keep this in your folder, your credit folder on your computer, because these are going to be the same items that you're going to use during the whole credit repair process. So they're going to ask you to upload proof of your identity, a copy of your ID. You also can use your Social Security card. They're going to also ask you to upload a piece of verifiable mail, meaning a utility bill. You can use your car registration as long as it matches the address that's on your ID. Your address, you guys, is very important. The reason being is because those addresses is what attach you to that prior credit, your credit file. So you want to have an accurate address on your credit report, okay? And on your ID. I know sometimes people may use their parents' address when they move out, but you still want to make sure that you have a up-to-date ID and a piece of verifiable mail. It can't be marketing material, okay? They need to know that you actually live at that address. Once you upload all of those documents, they are going to send you in the mail. They're going to let you know that your request is being processed. And then within a week or two, they'll send you a letter in the mail with a personal identification pin. The secondary bureaus are consumer friendly, you guys. I love calling them. You can call them. We actually have the telephone number in here in your My Credit system. They are consumer friendly. They're going to send you an identification pin. I tell people when you receive your letter, open it up, make sure that your freeze is in place, put the letter right back in the same envelope and just keep it in a safe place. Why? Because if you ever decide to remove that freeze, you're going to need that pin. But if you do misplace the letter, because I've had clients misplace the letter, then you can call them, and after identifying yourself and answering some security questions, they will give you your PIN. But you just want to keep that PIN in a safe place. You never need to remove these security freezes. I've had my security freeze in place since 2012, and I just got a brand new car in October. So this does not affect you getting approved if you try to go and get anything, when you try to go apply for anything. Keep in mind, during the credit repair process, you should not be applying for anything, okay? So that's another thing. You should not be applying for anything while you're working on your credit, because those inquiries will hurt you during the process, okay? So once you receive this letter from ARS, you're going to do this with every secondary bureau. And all of them are right here. The links are right here, you guys. You just click on the name and it's going to take you directly to their site. Scroll down to the bottom, you go security freeze and click security freeze. And then you're going to hit request online. For Innovis, you're going to just fill out this form. They do not require for you to upload any information, okay? So once you answer these questions, they're going to ask you if you feel like you've been a victim of identity theft. At some point, everybody has. Everybody's seen that Equifax was had a data breach. If your cell phone company sent you a letter saying you had a data breach. So at some point, all of us may have been a victim of identity theft. Again, the great thing about it, we have protection in MyEcon because we have the identity theft protection. If you haven't been a victim and you feel like you're safe, then you just say, no, you haven't been a victim. You can fill out this information and submit your request. Again, same process. In a week or two, they're going to send you your PIN in the mail. And the last one, which is LexisNexis, this is the largest secondary bureau. Anytime you applied for something or you were denied or you applied for something, LexisNexis have sent you a letter, okay? So you're going to click on LexisNexis, request a security freeze, same process. You're going to click request a security freeze online and fill it out. LexisNexis as well asks you to upload documents to prove your identity. Again, this is to protect you guys, okay? Once you finish that process, and the last one is SageScreen, they were actually bought out by LexisNexis. I personally feel like LexisNexis may be the fourth largest credit bureau because they are huge and they are buying out the little guys. So SageScreen, you don't have to try to click on that link because they was bought out by LexisNexis. Also, I encourage everyone to download this right here, list of consumer reporting agencies. I was so happy to see MyEcon incorporated this in our My Credit system. It's called a CFPB. They are the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But this will help you understand when you have applied for a job. I've seen people apply for management positions with a company, and they were very, qualified for the position because they knew the work, but because of their credit, they didn't get the position. And yes, credit affects everything in our life. So this helps you understand the actual secondary bureaus that report when it comes to your employment screening, tenant screening. If you've ever had a problem with getting approved for an apartment, you can find out what secondary bureau reports that information. You can actually get these secondary bureaus, go on their website and get your credit report from them. Yes, the secondary bureaus have their own credit reports that pertain to that particular situation. Banking. I told a story of when my son one time, he went to go do a check cashing at Walmart. Walmart did not decline cashing the check for him. And he called me and he didn't understand. And I told him, I was excited to show this to my son. I told him to bring the paper over here. And we were going to, if they give you a little slip, and we went to where the banking for the credit bureau that gives you the banking for your credit. And when we called them up, the lady explained to my son what was going on. It was a mistake on an incorrect reporting. And once she corrected it, he went right to the bank and opened up his bank account. So this is some great information when it pertains to life insurance, personal property, all of that, okay? So I encourage you to download and read that. Now that you have your credit report, you understand where your FICO score is at, and you know where you're starting at. You did your freeze and you received your letters back from the freeze company saying your freeze is in place. While you're waiting on your letters to come from the secondary bureaus, you can actually do step number 3 and check for errors on your credit report. Now, this is major because according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and I know you guys see a lot of my e-commerce TikToks where they give this information out. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it states that the information on your credit report has to be it has to be accurate. So anything that's reporting inaccurate, outdated, or unverifiable must be removed. And this is major because if it is reporting inaccurately, if the amount of debt that they're trying to collect is not correct, it has to be removed. If the date that they say you open up the account is not correct, it has to be removed. If it's unverifiable, it has to be removed. So again, the Fair Credit Reporting Act is major in helping us get these things off of our credit report. So look for errors on your credit report. So you want to know how to read your credit report. You want to look, I tell people to also keep a journal, keep a notebook. You want to understand how TransUnion is reporting the debt, and Equifax has the same debt, but they have different dates or they have different amounts. All of that, the date that you opened, if they're saying that it's closed, anything that's inaccurate, the credit report, the credit bureaus have to remove it, okay? So you download the common credit reporting errors on your credit report. Now that you've done that, now you're ready to start a dispute process, okay? We're ready to get into the fight. Our system actually creates the letters for you. So you want to go in, set up your profile, and you want to make sure that all of your information is correct. We have a variety of letters. I like to say a library of letters that help you in every situation. The first letter that you want to mail off is your identity dispute letter. Dealing with your identity portion of your credit is so important because that address or those names that you use, multiple alias and all of that, that plays a role in you getting approved for something, and also the debt staying connected to the debt staying connected to you, okay? So you want to use this identity letter, and this is the one time for me that I tell people they can actually call the credit bureaus. The letters do cover you, and I'll tell you why the letters make it so major for you to send the letters off. But you can actually call the credit bureaus and contact them about your personal information not being correct. But you want to make sure that you only have one address on your credit report, that same address that's on your ID, okay? That shows stability. When a creditor goes to apply, get you approved for something and they see you have multiple addresses, okay, they're all over the place. What's going on? A lot of lenders, especially banks, when you talk about you want to go to a bank to get a $100,000 loan because you got a business idea and they see all these addresses all over the place. There's no stability. When they see multiple names on your credit report, why you got different aliases? Because that's exactly what it is. You're using different aliases to apply for things. So now you're looking shady to the banks and stuff. You can't go ask for big money and big funding and you got multiple aliases on your credit report. This name that's on your ID is the name that you want on your credit report, okay? Again, it shows stability and it shows that you're trustworthy for what you're trying to get from them, okay? This is the first letter that you want to send off, but like I said, you can call them. When you do call the credit bureaus, you want to ask them, can you speak to a rep that's in the United States? Make sure that you do that. Ask them, I want to speak. You want to make sure that you're contacting the dispute department, and you want to speak to a dispute rep that's in the United States. And they might send you to different reps. You want to keep asking until that rep says that, and they verify that they're actually in the United States and they're in the dispute department. You want to ask them to remove the inaccurate names and addresses off of your credit report. Okay, and you just want to tell them that that address is not correct and I need it to be removed. Okay. If you decide to send a letter, and I do, again, I send a letter, you want to send one letter to each credit bureau. Okay. I say, check all of these boxes. Even if your name is correct up there, even if your birthday is correct, make them double check behind themselves. Check all of these boxes. As far as employment, you never want to have in your credit report unemployed, side job, side hustle. You never want to have that on your credit report, because then me as a lender, I will not lend you money. How am I going to be repaid? How are you going to pay back what you're asking? Or how are you going to make monthly payments if you're unemployed or got a side job or a side hustle? Okay. So you never want to have that on your credit report. You don't want to have your old employers up there. Again, when you went to go apply for whatever you applied for and that old employment was put down as employment verification, that's how the credit bureaus are going to say, we can prove that this debt belongs to you. Here's your employer right here on your credit report. And this is the employer that we have on our file. So again, those old addresses and all of that information, you just want a nice, clean credit report. This letter does not have to be notarized, but you do want to save it to your log history. And I'll explain to you why in a second. That's major that we have a log history to show proof of our letters, okay? You want to click download, and when the system downloads the letter, it's going to look like this. And it's going to have all your information up there. And you want to make sure that you sign that signature. Your wet signature on a letter going to the credit bureaus is major, okay? Let me make sure that my computer actually shared the new. Okay, yes, it did. You want to make sure that your wet signature is on the letter. And that's because when we send these letters to the credit bureaus, it's not landing in the hands of an actual person. It's going to something called the eOscar system. It is a system that reads letters. Okay, and that system will spit out a letter when it looks like it comes from a robot or a type system. So to give you a preview of the letter, you see the different fonts. You see that we have boldness up top. Again, different things would trigger eOscar's attention. Your wet signature will let eOscar know, hey, a real person submitted this letter. This needs to land in the hands of a real person. You want your letter to land in the hands of a real person who can actually do your dispute process, okay? I like to call this cleaning up your credit report, or the cleanup letter, okay? So now that you've sent that letter off, the credit bureaus do have 30 to 35 days to respond. During COVID, just like with everybody else asking for extensions, the credit bureaus did the same thing. So they were given 60 days to respond to your letters. I don't think that has been lifted yet because, again, me sending off letters for my clients, sometimes it goes past the 30 days, but they do support to have 30 to 35 days to investigate your request, okay? So with these letters, when you send off for your identity letter, they're not going to send you a letter back saying, hey, we removed this information. The only one that I recently seen that they sent a letter back, and that came from Equifax. So they might be starting to, but I know sometimes they won't. So you would need to go back into your credit reports and pull your credit reports to make sure those old addresses and stuff came off. If you have credit monitoring, that's good because you can log right in and see the results, or it would give you alerts to let you know what's going on. But you can go right back into the annual credit report to see if those old addresses and stuff was removed. When you call them, the rep will tell you that, wait at least 48 hours before you check. I recently sat down with a client. We called every credit bureau. We went through every address because they're going to ask you to tell them what addresses you want removed. They're not going to say, okay, we'll remove your addresses. That rep wanted to make sure we had his credit report in front of us. So that's why you want to have your credit report downloaded. They're going to ask you what addresses don't belong to you. So you have to give them, and we had to go through every address that he wanted removed off his credit report, every telephone number, every inaccurate way they were spelling his name and employer, okay? Once you get that part done, again, they got 30 to 35 days to respond. If you do not hear from them, we have the 30-day no response letter right in here, okay? That letter shows the account numbers, but you can actually use your own 30-day response, or you can actually call them back and let them know that, you know, what you requested has not been processed, okay? Once you get your identity straight, now your credit report is clean and it's looking good. The next letter that you want to send off is your verification dispute letter. I like to call this round one because now you're fighting for your good credit. So this is the verification dispute letter. Again, you'll notice the different fonts. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, U.S. Code, believe me, these credit codes are major, and credit bureaus know exactly what you're saying with these codes. You are required by federal law to conduct a reasonable reinvestigation to determine whether the disputed information is inaccurate and record the current status of the disputed information or delete the item from the file before the end of the 30-day period beginning on the date you received this notice. We're asking them, we're not saying that the debt does not belong to us. We demand that they show verifiable proof, and it should go back to the original creditor, not verification from a third-party database. We want them to show us why we owe that debt. We're not telling them, hey, this doesn't belong to me, I didn't go apply for it. We're asking them to show us proof of how they say we owe this debt, because you're sending this letter to third-party collection companies who bought your credit file. They didn't buy the whole debt. They didn't buy the contract that you originally went into the store and signed. They're buying your credit file for pennies on the dollar. And then they try to charge you tons of hundreds of dollars beyond what you actually had owed that creditor. For myself, when I was doing my dispute process, I had Sprint on my bill, my credit report 3 different times. And because I didn't understand and I lacked the education of credit, I didn't understand. I just assumed that it was the same account being repeated. Had I sat down and paid attention and read my credit report, it was different account numbers. They were trying to collect 3 times more than what I knew I actually had. When I left Sprint, I had probably owed them $200 and some. They were trying to collect $800. And me, I was just thinking, okay, it was before the cell phone that I didn't turn in, but that wasn't true. They had added on interest. So the inaccuracy, the reporting of the account numbers, the inaccuracy of the amount they were trying to collect, and the inaccuracy of the date they said that I actually got the Sprint bill, I was able to submit a letter and it was completely deleted. And I had to pay no one. I didn't have to pay not one dime. So again, this is major. This information that we have in the My Credit System, if you apply it, you will see results, you guys, okay? You're going to send this letter off. Again, your wet signature, the different fonts. You want to make sure that you send a letter to each credit bureau. You're also going to pay attention to the account names. Each credit bureau may have the same account with different names or different spellings. So pay attention to that. Equifax or TransUnion might have, ABC 1, 1, 2, 3, and the account number may be 456 XXX. That's exactly what you're going to put on this letter. Whatever letter you're sending, whenever you're sending a letter to the credit bureaus to get them to prove how you owe an account, you want to make sure that what's on your credit report matches what's on this letter. Never provide the credit bureaus with information they don't have. Equifax is famous for putting on your account numbers XXXX. That's a strategy. They want you to provide them the account number. Soon as you provide them the account number, you have legally obligated yourself to own the debt. Because now you just said, oh, I owe this debt because I gave them the account number. It's a strategy, okay, you guys? So pay attention to that. Again, different credit bureaus have different names and different numbers. You want to pay attention. If you have more than 6 accounts, just hit the add the 6 creditors. Never dispute more than 12 at a time. So you want to list those 12. This letter needs to be notarized. It absolutely needs to be notarized. You can go get it notarized for free at your credit union, at your bank. If you can't get to neither one of those, then yes, you have to put some skin in the game, and it costs to pay, I think it's like $5 to $7 to have your letter notarized, write it off, and put it in your cash flow manager, okay? You want to save it to your log history and download the letter. So we have a variety of letters in here. We have letters for if you have a hospital bill. I didn't have to use the HIPAA letter for my hospital bill. I just used the verification dispute letter, and my hospital bills was removed. But you have different instances, different situations for different people. So if you're having a hard time getting that medical collection removed off, then you might have to go to the violation of the HIPAA letter, because your HIPAA rights, they don't have access to your hospital records. So you can send that letter off if you're having a difficult time getting the medical bills removed. We have a letter in here called the goodwill letter. That's to remove 30-day late payments. You do not need to remove late payments from an account that's closed. If it's closed, you're going to use the verification dispute letter and the validation dispute letter. But if it's open, and I'll say during COVID, some people fell on hard times. And if you fell behind on a mortgage payment or a car payment, then that 30-day late payment hurt your score by up to 100 points. 30-day late payments can hurt your score up to 100 points. That's why you never want to be late on your credit cards, because it will absolutely drop your credit score, okay? But if you had late payments, and say you are now in good standing, we're in 2024, you're back making money and you're in a better position, and you've been making your payments on time for at least 2 years, you can send in the goodwill letter, and your creditor will honor that. I used it, and I was able to remove late payments for a client of mine for her mortgage. We called up her mortgage company. We asked them, they transfer her to her rep. Her rep told her to fax the letter in, and they removed the late payment because she was consistent with paying her mortgage on time for the last 2 years. A person on my team, my econ team, she sent it in. She was able to remove late payments from her car when she fell behind on her car payment. So this goodwill letter does work. But again, they ask you to be in good standing for at least 2 years. Okay, we have a letter called pay to delete. If you've set up an arrangement with a creditor and you've already told them that you agree to pay a certain amount, then you might have to stick to that. But if you have not, and your creditor call you, the one thing that you want to do when you speak to them, you want to try to set up a payment arrangement, because a lot of times you can avoid things going on your credit report if you talk to your creditor. We do not tell people duck and hide from your creditors. Don't set no. You can avoid a lot of things going on your credit report if you just have open communication and set up payment arrangements. A lot of times it could be as low as $5 to $10 if you're on a monthly budget. They just want to hear from you. I'm not saying to call people that's on your credit report, but before it gets to the point where they're reporting on your credit report, set up open dialogue and make a payment arrangement. That can avoid them even reporting it to your credit report. But if you have spoken with a creditor and you say, hey, I agree that I owe this debt, can we set up something? The one thing that you want to do is get everything in writing. So whoever the rep is that you're speaking to, you want them to send you an email stating that if I agree to pay this, you're going to remove it from my credit report. It's called pay to delete. Keep in mind, just because you pay it, I've had clients who paid over $80,000 worth of debt and still was at a 530 credit score, and he didn't understand what was going on. When he reached out to me and I told him what happened, he was like, well, wow, I wish I had spoken with you before. 530, and he just paid $80,000 in debt. Again, just because you pay it does not mean they're going to delete it. So you want to send them this pay to delete letter. You want to get it in writing. If you don't get it in writing, it's going to be your word against the rep. So you want them to send you an email stating when you make this payment arrangement or you make this payment, it's going to be removed from your credit report. Again, letters is to cover you. It's always best to have letters, the paper trail. Paper trail plays in your favor, okay? We have a lot of great letters in here. To remove hard inquiries. Let's say if you receive a letter from the original creditor, then you can send a letter directly to the original creditor before they even sell the debt. So it's different ways that you can work on getting your credit repaired before, again, because no credit is the worst. Like every credit the score can be increased and every credit can be repaired. I meet people who be like, they had the worst credit score, and it's okay. I tell them, no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. We don't judge because, again, I had bad credit. My credit score go up and down. Thank God for the knowledge I have because I have the tools in my credit system to always get my score back up, and I stay in the fight. Like Mr. Curry said, here in my econ, we don't have no quit in us. Quit is not in our vocabulary. It does not run through our blood. We do not believe in quitting, okay? You're fighting for your good name. So these are the variety of letters that you have. After you send those letters off, I'm going to show you I'm going to share with you guys what the credit bureaus will send you. So this is, and let me make sure I'm sharing it. This is a copy of a letter from one of my clients. This is your investigation results. So this is what you're going to get when you send your letter to the credit bureau. They're going to send you a letter and it's going to let you know the results of your requested investigation. As we can see, this person I was able to delete 10 accounts within 35 days. And I use this as a marketing tool on social media. But this person was able to remove 10 accounts in 35 days. So when you receive that letter, you're going to look beside the creditor's name and you're going to look to see if it's been deleted. The letter will say either deleted, updated, or verified. Well, we know they didn't verify the debt because we have our freeze in place. So we know they're telling a story when they say that it's been verified. Because I have my freeze in place, there was no way for you to verify my credit file. If it's been deleted, that is a win. If it's been updated, what did you update? So we're going to send a second letter. Again, round number 2, you're in the fight for your life. We don't believe in quitting. The credit bureaus, they try to long stroke the process so that you can say, oh, this take too much. I don't got time for this. That's a lie. The devil is a lie. We do got time for this because we're fighting for our good credit. But these are the results, okay? So you want to make sure that you look for that when you're doing their credit repair process. I'm sorry, let's stop sharing my screen, you guys. Let me get back to this. Okay, so now that you've sent off your dispute letters and you have everything and your credit is looking good and things are falling off and you followed the process, then we also have in here a video of why you should never dispute online. Again, the only thing that I think that you should dispute online, where you can go actually to the credit bureau's website, is your personal identification information, addresses and phone numbers and stuff. If you choose to call them or dispute it online, that is the only thing that you should dispute online. But you should never dispute accounts or inaccurate information as far as accounts and stuff on your credit. You should never do that online, okay? Also, we have a video in here to show you how to mail the letter off. I love that my econ pit is in here. We're going to walk you step by step, leaving your house and getting to that post office. This video shows you exactly what to do when you get inside the postal service. We show you what form to pick up, what to take it to the teller, what to say. Here are the addresses right here. Make sure that you never Google addresses because, again, there are multiple departments in the credit bureau. So you want to make sure that your letter is going to the dispute department. You don't have to Google, you don't have to YouTube. Everything you need is in one place. All of the addresses are right here. These are the addresses that your letter is going to go to the correct department, okay? Here are the letters that you can download. We also allow you to download the letters. If you ever need to change the verbiage on one letter, I would say it would be the identity dispute letter. One time when I sent letters off for a client, they didn't remove anything. When I called the credit bureau, the lady said she never received the letter. Well, ma'am, I know you're telling a story because I sent the letter certified mail. She came back to me, oh, I found your letter. I knew you were lying. I sent the letter certified mail. I followed the steps into my credit system. Then she said, oh, we didn't remove the address because you didn't tell us what address to remove. Well, ma'am, clearly on the letter, it tells you the address above is my current address. Any other addresses are undeliverable. Well, you have multiple addresses. We didn't know what to remove. Cool. I just pulled this letter up and she didn't know I had the My Credit system. So I opened my client's credit report and I copied and pasted. That person had 27 addresses on her credit report that was not correct. I copied all 27. I placed it on the letter and resent the letter off. And everything, all of those addresses fell off. Again, you guys, we make it so easy for you and we don't have no quit in us. The credit bureaus try to discourage you because they want you to feel like it takes too much time, but it does not take a lot of time. So you can download all of these letters, okay? I want to point out to you that we have the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I love that we have this in here because this system, and you can file complaints against the credit bureaus. They have their foot on the credit bureau's neck. When I first started teaching this was probably at 5,000. I want to say that it was at 20,000 last week. Now it's at 25,000. People are not playing about their credit. People are getting educated with the My Credit system and they're taking this serious. You can go here and actually file a complaint against the credit bureaus. People are winning lawsuits. Checks are being mailed out to people because they're winning lawsuits against the credit bureaus for their illegal tactics that they're doing. Okay, they're violating the Fair Credit Act with different things that they're doing. So you actually can go in here. This is a great resource for cleaning your credit up. You can go here and file a complaint against them. The only thing about it, when you start this complaint, just like with the FBI, you got to have your stuff in order and they don't come for you unless they know their stuff. This is Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. This is the FBI for us consumers. You got to have your stuff in order when you file that complaint. They want to know that you followed the proper steps. So with our system keeping our letters in the log history, we have a place that we can go back to say, hey, here's the letter. It shows the date that you created the letter. You have proof that you mailed the letter off from your receipt from the post office. They want to make sure that you followed the proper steps, that you sent them a letter requesting that investigation, that you sent the letter saying 30-day no response. I haven't heard from you guys. You can actually go here, file a complaint, and they will speed that process up for you when the credit bureaus are not doing what they're supposed to do. I love that My Econ placed this in here. This is some great information. Also, if you've ever been a victim of identity theft, we have that in here. We have you covered. You don't have to try to say, do I need to go fill out a police report? Who do I go to? Where do I go to? You go right here. Again, the Federal Trade Commission. This is another site for you to go to. File your identity theft report, and they're going to walk you through the process, okay? So we have some great information in here. State Attorney General. Me and a business partner of mine that's on my team, we actually went to the local State Attorney General office because we disputed an item off of a guy's credit report, and they had a nerve to reapply it through another company. We went straight to the third party. We went straight to the State Attorney General office. We explained to them that that information did not belong to that young man. The State Attorney General was very impressed with what we was telling them, and we got the item removed off the young man's credit report. So we work hard for our clients, okay? Also, checking for disputes. A video for tell you how to check for the disputes on your credit report. There's a video in here to tell you what to do if a dispute is not removed. So My Econ has left no stone unturned when it comes to helping you get good credit, okay? Now we're working on building credit utilization. I like to explain to people, no matter how much you pay someone and who you pay, no one can build your credit for you. We can give you suggestions, but you cannot pay me to help you do your credit utilization. And that's why it's important for you to do it yourself. Credit utilization is something that you have to do, and it counts for 30% of your credit score, okay? So you want to understand credit scores, understand the utilization, understand how to use that credit card. When you get that credit card, you want to keep it at below 30%. 10% is the best. 10% is gold, but again, 30%. So you want to understand, credit utilization. Now that you got your credit cleaned up and now you're utilizing it, you want to understand the power of it. So you want to watch this video, Building Good Credit. And again, we have some great links in here for you guys. The Credit Loan Builder Program, if you are a member of a credit union that offers the Credit Loan Builder Program, you need to absolutely use it. This will help you use your credit. Credit Loan Builder Programs, what they do is you will give them a certain amount of money a month. Credit Strong and Self is great ones as well. You give them a certain amount of money a month. It could be $50, $25, or $100, whatever the terms that you agree to. They're going to put that money into a savings account for you, and they'll release it to you at the end of the term. But every month that you're paying on time, they are reporting to all 3 credit bureaus as a positive trade line. So now your creditors can see, hey, they know how to pay their bills on time. It's not actually a credit card in your hand, but you're paying on time, making payments on time every month, and they're reporting that positive trade line to the credit bureaus to show that you're credit worthy. You're building up your confidence with the creditors, okay? And again, at the end of your term, they will release that money back to you. Some of the secured credit cards, Self will offer you a Visa card once they see that you're making on-time payments. So now you actually have a credit card in your hand. Chime will do the same thing. Chime will give you a secured credit card. We got Open Sky, you got First Progress, and you have Discovery. So these are a few that we suggest. We don't tell you which one to choose. I personally wouldn't have a credit card and I'm paying an annual fee on unless it's one of them platinum or, black cards. But again, to each his own. I let everyone make their own decision. But you're building a positive trade line. If you're a renter, you can also download this and have your landlord or your leasing office report to your the credit bureaus that you're paying your rent on time. That helps as well. Okay. And this is the end of the my training. Again, I just want to encourage you guys that if you follow the system, you will get great results. And because I followed the system, because I stick to what I understand and know, I was able to achieve good credit. When you have good credit, you guys, it's major, it's life-changing. You can actually use your credit. People are paying people for their good credit. Trade lines. So that is the end of my training. Thank you, Mr. Carey.